And here, the man who's going to talk about transformation through innovation, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Thomas.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I thought it was going to be good morning, but we're running a little bit behind. I believe the innovation you're looking for is a zip, by the way. Look, I'm very honored and happy to be here to present this topic today. It's a topic very close to my heart, and that is transformation through innovation. Why it's close to my heart is that at Adidas and Reebok in India, as well as globally, we've gone through tremendous transformation over the past 3 years, over the past many years. I've been in India now 3.5 years, and it's been a fantastic journey. I see some of my team here, and they can tell you we've gone through tremendous transformation with innovation being at the core. And I want to start with a story of a couple of shoes that changed our industry, that changed sport, that changed the way athletes perform. And you see there, the shoe on the right is a running spike, made its way through the late 1800s into the early 20th century. And you see here one of the early versions of a running spike. And this particular one has been immortalized in the film Chariots of Fire, if you ever saw it, developed by a gentleman called J.W. Foster, whose grandsons ultimately went on to found the Reebok brand. This gave enormous benefit to the athlete, to himself actually, and to others in time, and this has continued to evolve. And this was a real innovation of the day. The other shoe, the football boot, for those football fans amongst you, was developed and in 1954 in the World Cup. Played a significant role in the victory of the underdogs, the German team, and for any football fans it's probably hard to imagine the Germans as the underdogs. But in Switzerland, this World Cup final, the Germans were playing against the hotly favoured Hungarians. They were 2-0 down, and the rains came down. The ground got wet, the ground got soggy, and this football boot was the first screw-in studs. They were able to adjust simply the length of the studs. The Germans stayed on their feet. The Hungarians kept falling over. The Germans win 3-2. Now, this was a boot developed by the then kit manager, a guy called Adi Dassler, who was our brand's founder. And I bring these two shoes because they show the innovation of the day. We fast forward to today, of course, and we think, that's such an old innovation, but that's what innovation is all about. It's a journey. And we talk about innovating daily. How do we transform for our consumers? And at Adidas, we put it through this sort of a lens. And I wanted to just briefly talk about these 6 Ps, if you like. And I put up this shoe because it, again, is a more recent innovation in the world of running. For several decades, through the 90s and beyond, EVA was the gold standard in a running shoe. I don't know if we have any runners in the audience. Do anybody run? Nice to see. Only 1, 2. That's why we need to do something about that to improve business, I think, if that's all we've got in the running industry. But EVA, which was a standard compound that gave you cushioning, gave you slight energy return, was really in every shoe. There are different versions of running shoes until 5 years ago when Boost came on the scene. Adidas, along with the German chemical manufacturer BASF, developed this Boost technology. And it gave us a very distinct advantage. It gave the runner the ability, enormous energy return, the properties of this technology, of this material. It's durable, it's lightweight, the energy return properties over different temperatures are very consistent, and it changed the industry. And not just in running, because for those of you that know the Ultra Boost, or know the Boost, the NMD, various shoes that have become the sneaker of the last few years, very much uses this same technology. So it's about fashion and about style as well as about performance. But it's not just about the product itself, it's about the processes and how we've innovated, and we will continue to innovate to bring newness to the industry. And I have here a picture of Speed Factory. And Speed Factory, speed of course is no longer an option. Speed is an expectation, it's a given. Consumers are expecting everything now, or yesterday. And we've really tried to shorten the supply chain, which for many, many years has been a very long supply chain. And we try and bring this Speed Factory through robots, through digital knitting, through 3D printing to the store, to the consumer. So the lead time is cut right down. Actually, I'm wearing shoes today that come from one of our Speed factories in Germany. And really, it enables you to customize and produce for that consumer very quickly. The next is another process, and I'll show you a short video. Hopefully we're innovative enough that it actually works, but the first mass producer of 3D shoe, Futurecraft, again, using light, using oxygen, using a new manufacturing technique, we've been able to tune this shoe for everyone's different needs. So my shoe, your shoe can be completely different through the process because we're able to adapt with a very, very unique and innovative way, which we developed in collaboration with a company called Carbon, who are in Silicon Valley. And let me not talk too much longer, let me show you this video. It'll give you an idea.
It's about people.
An evolution of creative freedom.
Things so complex, it feels like it should be impossible in the moment.
This is the next natural step.
Beta. We're never complete.
Wildly kind of complex.
Well, what's the idea?
Evolving the human athlete.
Convergence of
Design and manufacturing,
hardware engineering, software
A workflow where things are seamless.
programmable liquid
It just
resins.
rises up.
It's a lattice, it's a matrix. Light and oxygen and bath of magic material.
Remove the bounds of the
The
mold.
future is now.
There's no beginning or end.
You're limitless.
So for those of you interested in the design process, I really encourage you to take a look at that. And again, as I say, you can really customize, you can mass customize. At the moment, we sold 250 pairs about a month ago. We had 70,000 registrations to apply for this shoe, and you'll see a lot more, thousands and then hundreds of thousands and millions of these shoes come out in the months and the years to come. But I think also innovation to us is about passion. And why do I say that's important? It's a passion for newness, for never being satisfied. We talk about an obsession or even an addiction, and that's sometimes has a word with negative connotations, but we have an addiction for progress, for not being happy with the way things are done, challenging and looking for new ways to do it. And it can be as simple as an idea. And the idea for this was, if our passion is to make athletes better, and I don't just mean Olympic athletes or World Cup athletes, it's all of us. Anyone of you who put your hand up who runs, anybody who does yoga, anybody who walks, we want to make your lives better. But we thought, what are we doing for para-athletes? And the idea was quite simple. We decided to do a pair of 2 lefts or 2 rights. And we got behind it, and again, it was a simple idea, it was innovative, and it really resonated with a large part of the community. And it's about innovating for progress, innovating for change, innovating for social change. For those of you that may know, we have a partnership with Parley for the Oceans, where we've taken a lot of plastic out of the ocean, and we're working on turning it into shoes. And I'll show you a video on that. It's my last video I'll show you, because I think, again, it's really trying to make the world a better place when we leave it than we inherited it. Also, sometimes we have shoes that have defects, factory defects. They come back to us. Rather than destroy these shoes, which is an enormous waste, we try and repurpose them. We work with a partner, again, in India called Green Soul, and we repurpose these shoes and give to those in need. We also, through the Reebok brand, have championed some causes, some women's rights issues, whether it's equal pay, whether it's eve teasing here in India, whether it's women's safety and self-defense. And I think, again, it's about innovating for that and transforming the world on a whole. So let me show you this Parley video, and then I'll come back.
By 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the world's oceans.
People globally produce around 300 million tons of plastic every year.
Actually, where is it all going? What are we doing with
I
it?
consider it to be the defining crisis of this generation.
Hey, Adidas. This is who we are. We've never known a clean ocean, but we know there's something we can do about it.
Another youth group suing the government for for not taking care of our environment.
I was really disgusted by how much garbage there was.
We have to change our mindset and stop using items that you only use once.
I eliminated essentially all of my waste.
Young people have power. Our voices are powerful.
And we want your help. We see you turning threat to thread, trash to treasure, waste into sport.
Straight fire.
Recyclable materials.
And the upper is made up of recycled plastics.
Adidas partnering up with them is really changing things, you know.
We want to be a part of that.
We need a change in perspective.
The innovation is here. Technology is here.
We have to act on it.
Don't let anybody tell you that you can't.
You're the best for the athlete.
Nobody can stop the world record holder.
Together, we can be the best for the world.
So in 2016, when we started this partnership, and it takes about 11 plastic bottles taken from the ocean or the equivalent of to make a pair of shoes, we made about, I think, a couple of hundred pairs of shoes. The following year, last year, we made 1 million pairs. This year, it'll be 5 million pairs. And this is just one way. We're also trying to cut down through our manufacturing process in the amount of water wastage, the amount of material wastage, and that's a continued innovation to get better, and the process is going to be very important. And you might have noticed I've mentioned a few names, Carbon, BASF, various partners, and I forgot to mention another one, Woolmark, who are here today. I saw our Ultra Boost on the stand. Please check it out. But we innovate with partnership. We're not arrogant enough to say we're the only ones who can create. We're the only innovators. Perhaps 10 years ago or 20 years ago, we were very protective about our brand. Now we throw it open to other key creators, key collaborators, key innovators. We look at someone like Pharrell Williams, who was in Mumbai only a couple of weeks ago to launch a new collection. Despite what you may have seen in the photos, he did have a great time being here through a Holi celebration. Kanye West, again with the Yeezy, a hottest sneaker collaboration there is. Designers like Stella McCartney, Yohji Yamamoto, or even players like Lionel Messi, who help input into the product. We feel this is very important. And then we also work with other companies, other brands. And we work with, you might have heard of some of them, Bathing Ape, Neighborhood, Gucci. And if you can get your hands on a pair of Gucci Pharrell Williams NMDs, they're now running at about $10,000. So these sort of things are enormously collaborative in process. And finally, or almost finally, we innovate for a premium experience. And you'll hear a lot about that from other speakers and through the panel and through Anand. It's no longer about a good-looking store. In fact, it hasn't been about a good-looking store for a long time. It's about all consumer touch points, of course, omni-channel, the buzzword of the last years, but it's about making sure it's a seamless experience. Your consumer might be looking in-store and buying online, might be looking online, buying in-store. It has to be a fairly rich and seamless experience with strong service and the ability to experience your products and your brand. An experience could be as simple as kicking a ball into the back of a net with a boot, running on a treadmill, or it could be more advanced than that. It could be virtual reality, it could be body scanning, it could be numerous things. And I'll end with a story, and this is the prop I brought before. So what we're looking at is innovation being a journey. And we have here the 1994 Predator, which for those, again, who follow football, was the very first football boot, the very first Predator of its kind, and it started the most iconic franchise of football boots ever. But what I think is important to note is that it evolves. And here is the 2018 version. And if you put the two side by side, you'll see things that are vastly different. This is 20 years of evolution in my hands. And this isn't stopped. This is not the last time you'll see this. This will continue to get better, lighter, construction methods will change, design, materials, all of this will change. And I think that's the point, that you have to have that relentless obsession to be better and to improve and to transform. So I thank you very much, and I look forward to being part of the panel. Thank you.